everybody, this is Dimitri, and I want to give you a tip today that you may actually find makes your life a lot easier. It absolutely made my life a lot easier. This is a simple thing to know, but once you have it, you'll have it. And when you find you're facing your issues or working your stuff or you're upset about something, or if there's a chronic issue in your life that bothers you, it's actually going to be a lot easier to deal with that issue when you know this one thing. This is one of those kind of rare situations where there's a simple thing that actually makes a big difference. So I want to share it with you now. I can't believe I haven't shared it yet. So let's say you start out in a situation wanting something. There's always something you want. There's always something your heart is looking for, right? So you start with your want. And you say, like, for instance, I had a client, he was in this situation where he needed to set pricing and do negotiation for his business, but that was hard for him, right? But he wanted to set really good pricing and negotiate good deals for both himself and the people he was working with. That was his want, right? But like many of us with our wants, we have stress, we have difficulty, we have problems around those wants. And the reason that we have a problem around those wants is because we hit some sort of a brick wall, right? This is a brick wall inside of you. We hit some sort of circumstance or problem or thought structure that really seems to knock us out of the ballpark of getting what we want. So this guy's saying, well, I want to be able to like negotiate good deals for myself that are also fair for other people. So we say, great, go ahead and do that. What's stopping you from doing that already? Right? Okay, well, what's stopping you from doing that already? For this guy, he said, well, I feel like it's bad to ask for myself. This is what stops you. It's bad to ask for myself. It's selfish. Now, I don't want to be one of those selfish people, right? The good people give stuff away for free. They don't charge, right? So he hits this. And then what happens after that is we start to run into, we step into a dark world of what's possible for ourselves. So he wants to be able to negotiate good deals for himself and other people, but because that's what the selfish people do, the thing he hits, what stops him, he ends up in this world where he's like, well, as I would call this like a dark world you live in. I have to give myself away. I have to always be ripped off. Right? That's kind of where he lands. I guess I just have to, I guess I'm just, nice guys finish last. And I guess, there's winners and losers in this world. I'm just one of the losers, right? So we start asking, and he accepts I have to lose, right? So here's the thing that people do in this situation that is the problem, right? And if you stop doing this one thing and start doing the other thing I'm going to tell you to do, all these sort of problems are going to become easier. As in this situation, what happens next is we ask ourselves one question. Why? Why is this happening? Why? Why am I stuck in this situation? And here's something you need to know. When you ask your brain why you get stopped by something and feel like you have to live in a dark world, when you ask your brain why that happens, your brain will give you an answer. And that answer will always, 100% of the time, be either you suck or other people suck. Some degree of that, right? And the other people suck. Why do they suck? Because you suck. If you didn't suck, that wouldn't be a problem. So your brain is always going to, we get in this like, oh, I want to create a business where I charge the right amount. We have good deals, but that's what the selfish people do. It's bad to ask for myself, so therefore I have to give myself away. Why is that happening? I'm saying you should not ask yourself why, but this is what we do. When you ask why that's happening, your brain starts telling you it's happening because, well, like I said before, because there are winners and losers. It's happening because nice guys finish last. It's happening because of your family issues that you haven't worked. It's happening because they see something in you and they know you're not really worth what you want to be worth, right? The why, your brain gives you all these answers as to why. All of them make you feel bad and none of them are helpful. So then we set to work on fixing the why. All of this is going the wrong direction. I'll give you another example after this too, just so you get a sense. So all this happens, we explain to ourselves why it's happening, which is just stuff we made up as to why it's happening, generally because we're terrible, and then we try and fix our own terribleness. But here's what you're missing in that situation. What you're missing in that situation is the person who is in this dark world. What about this person? When this guy had accepted, who wants to create really good business deals, when he accepted that he's just going to have to give himself away, that's heartbreaking. That's discouraging. So there's a way in which when you hit this wall and you end up in a dark world, you're in a discouraged space. You're a discouraged person who sort of finds himself believing that no matter what he or she does, nothing will ever work for you, and you start coming up with whys. But this discouraged person needs attending to. How well are you able to negotiate great deals or deal with problems that are in the way when you are discouraged and believing you have to give yourself away? Answer equals you're not very good at it. So what I'm proposing to you is stop asking yourself why and start looking at who you turn into when you hit these blocks. Stop asking, why do I believe it's bad to ask for myself? What's wrong with me that I believe that? What happened to me that made me feel that way, right? All that you can safely dispense with all of that. You don't need to. The thing you need to look at is, who do you become? And look with the eyes of compassion at who you become in this dark world. For this man, feeling he has to give himself away in the most important ways, and that's what he's fated to, I mean, that really broke his heart. It breaks something in him. And so I needed to help him look with the eyes of compassion at this part of him that's bought the idea that he has to give himself away. And he started seeing, wow, that's a really hard way to live. And his heart went out to himself, and he felt compassion. He's like, wow, I see this is an empty cup of love here. And he started filling that cup up to overflowing. Not with like the 5-point plan of how this discouraged person should change himself. Not with good advice, but with just, wow, I see that's hard and I feel for you. Right? Compassion is to feel with, compassion. So he felt with this part of himself. And here's the most magical part. When we really feel with the discouraged parts of ourselves, they transform. You may have seen the movie Inside Out. There's a scene in there where a character loses this wagon that he loved desperately. It was his childhood, the toy, and was just broken when it was destroyed meaninglessly. And people tried to cheer him up, but he couldn't be cheered up. Finally, someone sat down and said, yeah, they took something you loved, and that really hurts. And he cried for a minute, and it was like, you know what? I'm ready to move on. It's when we're seen and loved in our discouragement exactly the way we are, we get healed, and we're ready to move on. So, great. So what happened to him was when he started seeing that's a hard way to live, and I feel really discouraged by it, and wow, that's really rough. He started saying, wait a minute. He had the, hey, wait a minute moment. He started saying, you know, in any deal, if I'm not happy with the deal, I'm not going to produce good results. He started saying, you know, wait a minute. Making a deal is like a dance. And both people need to be fully expressing themselves for the dance to be beautiful. If I really want to come together and provide the best value, I need to get more for myself. I need to get the right amount for myself, because that's the way I deliver the best value. He started to see this is like, it's a service to my client to ask for the right amount. And his heart shifted in that, from I have to give myself away to it's actually a service to them to ask for the right amount. And he felt it through and through, not like some head thing. He had it in his heart. And from there, why he was having those problems didn't matter at all. All right, so this is what I'm suggesting to you. Is notice next time you're upset about something, especially in yourself or a chronic long-term problem, you're going to be asking, why is this happening? Stop asking why it's happening. Your brain's just going to make up a bunch of nonsense anyway. And ask, who do I become in the face of this repeating pattern? What do I start to think I'm fated for in life? And start to bring some love to that part of yourself. And that will start to transform that, and the whys won't matter. This is the path of healing. So I'm going to give you one more quick example, much faster than the one we just did, just to kind of get it in your head. So I was working with a guy who he was single, he wanted to date, he wanted to have a relationship with women. So that was his one. He wanted to date. But what stopped him? He's like, well, that's easy. Every time I've opened up with a woman, I feel like I've been just destroyed inside. I've been mowed down by these relationships. So who did he think he had to become? What was the dark world? I have to protect myself around women. Now that's the most important thing, is to protect myself. And he could ask himself, well, why is that? Well, my mother and father didn't have a good relationship. Well, I mean, that may have been true, right? Well, women these days, or whatever, right? To come up with all sorts of reasons. But you can really safely disregard all the why. And this is another thing, everybody says that you can't afford the luxury of a negative belief or something like that. These are the negative beliefs over here, but nobody tells you how to get rid of them. I'm telling you now how to get rid of the negative beliefs. Stop thinking about the whys and look at who you become. He became a guy who believed he has to always protect himself around women. And when he became the guy who felt like he always had to protect himself around women, he was not good at his one, which was developing a relationship with women. So I got him away from the why is this happening, all of his self-authored reasons and the stuff he needed to work on himself, and just had him look at who he turned into. This guy who felt like the best he could be around women was like this shell, and he couldn't speak himself, and he had to really hide. And as he really brought love to that part really started to overflow and relax and open up. Like, he was like, I see it's really hard to live that way. Wow, that's really difficult. It's important for you to have a relationship. This seems to stop it entirely. Wow, I mean, I'm really sorry that you feel like you're backed into that corner and have to live in that world. And as he filled up with love, he started to see, he says, wait a minute. And those past things don't mean anything. All of those mean is I want to be even more authentic. I want to bring myself more fully. I want to be more honest about who I am. So then if things don't go my way, at least I was really myself. Right? You have this transformation. I don't know what the transformation will be for you when you love the part of yourself that feels discouraged about never getting what you want and feels like you have to live without it. And sometimes what a person gets is just like there is a way forward. Not all these specifics I'm giving you now, but even knowing that is enough. Knowing there's a way forward is a big deal to someone who's discouraged. So I got him away from the whys and into this, and it transformed. So this is the essence of healing work. We want to want, the thing that stops you from your want, the dark world you step into, and why. Stop doing the why. Go from here to how can I bring the love to this part exactly the way it is so I can start to see the world with new eyes. So I stopped trying to be the discouraged person fixing my life, which will never work. Become a person who's not discouraged, and then life sort of unfolds by itself. So anyway, thanks for watching. I want to encourage you to do this and share this and leave me comments, any thoughts you have on this. Okay, everybody, thanks a lot. Bye.